Welcome to our channel. My name is Ava Hernandez. Today we bring you the latest news and analysis from around the world. In today's video, we'll be discussing the geopolitical moves of two world leaders. On one side, we have Russian President Vladimir Putin, who is courting China, and on the other side, we have US President Joe Biden, who is meeting with Eastern NATO allies. The implications of these moves are significant and could have far-reaching consequences for international relations. So, sit back and join us as we dive into the details of this developing story. President Vladimir Putin of Russia warmly welcomed China's top diplomat to Moscow before addressing a large pro-war rally. President Biden's whirlwind visit to Europe ends with a show of support for NATO's most vulnerable members. President Vladimir V. Putin warmly welcomed China's top diplomat to Moscow on Wednesday, reinforcing his ties with a powerful ally before exhorting a large rally of pro-war Russians to remain united in what he called an existential struggle with the West. Shortly after Mr. Putin told a packed, flag-waving crowd at Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow that there is a battle underway on our historical borders. For our people, President Biden met in Warsaw with leaders from NATO's eastern flank in another display of transatlantic unity against Russia. 2 days before the anniversary of Moscow's invasion of Ukraine, the increasingly direct confrontation between the U.S. and Russian leaders, about 700 miles apart, was unfolding as Ukrainian officials warned of more attacks on their cities. A barrage of Russian missiles struck Kharkiv in northeastern Ukraine on Wednesday amid a nationwide air raid alert. As Western nations rush more weapons to help Ukraine defend against a renewed offensive by Moscow in the east, Russia was also showcasing the breadth of its military partnerships by holding joint drills with China and South Africa. Here is what else to know. Wang Yi, China's top diplomat, met with Mr. Putin at the Kremlin, where the Russian leader passed along his very best wishes to my friend Xi Jinping, China's leader. While there was no mention of Ukraine in the brief televised portion of their meeting, which focused on their economic partnership, U.S. officials have warned that China could seek to support Russia with weapons. Mr. Biden, wrapping up a 3-day tour of Europe that began with a secretive visit to Kiev, was meeting with the Bucharest Nine, the easternmost members of NATO, who are seen as most vulnerable to further Russian aggression. The meeting would reaffirm the group's commitment to collective defense and unwavering support for Ukraine, the White House said. On Tuesday, during a speech in Warsaw, Mr. Biden said that Mr. Putin had prolonged the war, while Mr. Putin, in his own speech in Moscow, blamed the United States and its allies for turning the conflict into a global confrontation. He said that Russia would suspend participation in its last remaining nuclear treaty with the United States and signaled that his country was prepared for years of war. Nearly a dozen explosions were reported overnight in Russian-held territory in Ukraine, including in the southern city of Mariupol. It was not clear what had caused the explosions, but they suggested that Ukraine had stepped up strikes on Russian positions deep behind the war's front lines. Thanks for watching our video on the latest geopolitical moves of world leaders. We hope you found the information informative and insightful. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates and analysis on current events from around the world. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below. We look forward to hearing from you and seeing you in our next video.